A question my husband, my booker, gets asked a lot is, how do I know Dawn's the real deal? How do I know I'm going to get a good reading? Well, if you're asking him, he's obviously going to tell you you're going to get the real deal. 1, he works for me. 2, he's married to me. So you've got a little bit of a biased answer there. But it is something that is a big concern for folks, and probably any of you who have gotten readings. Even me, when I go and get readings, I am always worried. It's like, is this going to be the real deal or isn't it? With that, these are some of the things that I do to get a sense of whether it's going to be a good reading or not, and if I should book. And these are tips that you guys can use as well. The first thing is, if you're looking for a reading, I encourage you to do your homework. Go online and Google mediums or psychics, anyone in your area or where you're looking at getting the reading. Go through a couple of the pages. You'll find that the people who actually have websites, who have Facebook pages, who have some type of media presence, they tend to be more of the real deal than those that don't. If someone doesn't have a page, I'm a little bit more skeptical, just because it's like, well, are they fly by night? What's going on? Is there something shady, shisty going on? So I'm less inclined to be going with someone that way than I am if I see a website. If I just see a number, I'm likely going to just dismiss it. The website, their Facebook page, their media presence can provide you with a lot of information. 1, it's, do you like the person or not? If you don't like the person, if the person kind of gives you the creeps, or it's just like, you know what, that just doesn't feel right to me, then don't go with them. You're not going to feel comfortable unless you want to have that feel. But do go on what your opinion of them is when you see them. The second thing to be cautious of, you're going to find that prices for readers, they vary drastically. In Buffalo, I have found that for a half an hour reading, you can get anything from like $25 for the half an hour, $20 for the half an hour, to over $200. It's crazy that there is such a wide gap. Just because someone's charging, though, the $200 for the half an hour doesn't mean that they're good. There are a lot of good readers who are at that mean range. And some of the readers, they don't go that high just because they don't want to price themselves out of the ballpark. And they don't need to do 1 or 2 readings. They feel comfortable doing a bunch of them. So do keep in mind, looking at the prices, that may be an indicator, but it may also not be. Another thing, don't be overly concerned about. Take note of, but don't necessarily base your decision on, is how long somebody has been reading. Everybody's got to start somewhere. Everybody's got to get out the door, and you can have some very, very good readers out there who've only been reading professionally for a year or 2. You also have some very good readers who have been reading for 50. So don't necessarily take into account that person who's been doing it 50 years is really good or really bad. Because I know some people at the tail end of their career, they should be taking a little bit of a step back. You can assume, however, if someone's been doing it for 20 years, that they have some following. They are good in some manner, because they wouldn't be doing it for that long if they weren't. So do keep that in mind. So, and look at what they have to say. Look at the colors, just who makes you feel good. After you've done that and you've done some of your research, ask your friends. Ask those friends, family, acquaintances, people you know who get readings. Ask them if they've heard about the person, who they think you should go to. You might have a list of 3, and one of the 3 that you are thinking of is who they mention. Chances are then you're going to get a good reading. But always be cautious, because just because they liked them doesn't mean you're going to. I'll give an example with a dear friend of mine. I love her to the moon and back. I hate some of her friends. Hate's a strong word. I really dislike some of her friends. And I avoid getting together with her when she has her friends there. I don't go to group things. We do things by ourselves. Just because we don't resonate. We're different people. The same thing could be true with you and the reader. You might just not jive. If you don't feel like you're going to jive, don't try to force it. If you do get to the reading and you feel a little bit off, you're not necessarily connecting, the one thing I want to encourage you is don't wait till the end of the reading to tell the reader. If within 5 minutes you're not comfortable, if within a couple minutes of after the reading starts, I would say give it 10 minutes. But if you don't feel like there is that connection, you can always say, you know what, I want to stop this. Any reputable reader is going to stop and likely say, okay, I get it. It's not fair to you or the reader, especially not the reader, to go through the entire reading and then at the end say, well, that doesn't make sense, I'm not paying you. They've just spent an hour of their time with you. But if you stop them short, they will recognize, because if they are reputable, they know that they're not going to be on every single time and that they may not be the reader for you. So be fair to yourself, be fair to them. That's my tips for today. If you are liking my videos, like, subscribe to my channel, share with your friends, and if you have any topics you'd like to see covered, put them in the comments below as well. Until tomorrow.